We obsess over having the perfect 4K TV, right? Like getting that crystal clear picture mounted just perfectly on the wall. But I feel like we rarely think about the actual pipeline delivering that data.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when that pipeline has to stretch through, say, the walls of a sports bar or some massive home theater setup, that invisible wire is really the most critical piece.
Exactly. And so today we're doing a deep dive into exactly how cables, specifically the WolfPack HDMI 2.0 cables from HDTV Supply, pull this off. And they use this thing called active optical cable technology.
Yeah, and if you've ever wondered how pristine, uncompressed 4K data travels those massive distances without, lagging or dropping a single pixel of quality, well, this is where the engineering gets super fascinating.
Right. So to understand what makes an AOC, an active optical cable, so special, we first kind of have to look at what's happening inside standard copper cables. I mean, it's basically like trying to yell a message down a really long hallway, right?
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. The further the sound travels, the more it degrades and echoes.
Yeah, it gets all distorted, like cars sitting in heavy traffic.
Exactly. And that distortion in standard copper is mostly due to electromagnetic interference, plus just natural signal attenuation over distance. But an AOC operates totally differently. It's more like, well, standing at the end of that hallway with a flashlight and flashing Morse code.
Wait, because it's literally using pulses of light.
Right. The light hits the other end instantly. It's like a frictionless light-speed bullet train. The signal arrives perfectly intact.
Okay, wow. And the specs on this WolfPack cable mention these tiny built-in transceivers on both ends. So wait, I just want to clarify. Is that what's actually doing the translating? Like taking electrical signals, turning them into light, and then back again?
Yeah, that integration is the entire trick here. Because historically, to get fiber optic speed, you had to rig up these separate, really bulky external transceivers to both ends of your setup.
Oh, I remember those. They were huge.
Right. But with AOC, they've miniaturized all those active electronic components so they fit completely inside what looks like just a totally normal HDMI connector.
So the transceivers being built directly right into the cable itself is what actually makes it, quote unquote, active.
You get the nail on the head. That's exactly it.
Okay, that explains how it hits specs that would just totally choke a regular copper wire. I mean, looking at the source material, this thing boasts a massive 18 gigabit bandwidth. It handles 4K at 60 Hz with a full 4.4.4 color space, plus HDR10 and HDCP 2.2.
It's a lot of data. You're cramming 18 gigabits through that wire every single second. Copper physically just cannot handle that much data over long stretches without massive interference.
Right. And speaking of long stretches, these cables come in lengths, starting at 33 feet for about $58, all the way up to an astonishing 330 feet for $162.
Which is the length of an entire football field. Sending a flawless, uncompressed 4K movie that far without any degradation is why converting it to light isn't just some gimmick. It's totally mandatory for scale.
But doing that conversion, from electricity to light, that requires actual hardware, which leads to this wildly hilarious contradiction I noticed in the product specs.
Oh yeah, the power thing.
Yes. Because one bullet point explicitly claims the cable, quote, doesn't need a power supply. But then literally a few lines down under the features, it states it, quote, requires an active power source. So how should we interpret that? Are they just bad at copywriting, or am I missing something here?
Well, I mean, it definitely reads like a mistake until you look at the clever engineering happening right at the port level. So the transceivers absolutely require power to run the microscopic laser array inside the connector.
Right, because of the active part of active optical cable.
Exactly. But instead of needing a separate, bulky wall plug to get that power, it actually draws that minimal required voltage directly from pin 5 on your device's HDMI port.
Oh, I see. So the power supply they're saying you don't need is an external one.
Yep, you don't need a wall adapter.
Got it. It's passively siphoning just enough juice from the TV or the receiver itself to power its own internal lasers. That's why reading the specs closely is so crucial.
It really is. It powers itself seamlessly. AOC cables are brilliant because they blend that universal plug-and-play ease of standard copper connectors with the sheer speed and distance of fiber optics.
It totally bypasses traditional bandwidth barriers. It really is a massive feat of miniaturization hiding right behind your television.
It really is.
Which honestly leaves you with something pretty wild to ponder. If we are already replacing standard copper wiring with microscopic laser arrays just to send a video signal to our TVs across the room, how long until every single connection in your home runs entirely on literal literal lasers.
That is a crazy thought.
Right. So the next time you sit back to enjoy that pristine 4K picture, just remember the perfectly intact flashlight beam running through your walls to make it all happen.